t-shirt was because Carl Burtonshaw was here. Was supposed to be here. I reckon you should put on your jacket. Do you remember how many buttons you had on yours? Oh, in which case you probably had 3. I think John might have. Yeah, that's right. You're a large. You're not. Yeah, because John's an extra large, isn't he? Yeah, that is yours. That's not many. I'm going to try for it for a 3rd time. And here we are. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to another live stream.
Welcome to Winter Watch.
Winter Watch. What are we watching? Chaffinches. Do we have chaffinches in the winter?
We do.
Yes. Okay. No, actually, we're here to talk about the song Good Old Days
Of the Cold War.
There we go. I'll start. You finish. Right now, we're going to spin the record deck.
Oh, let's do it.
Spin the record deck.
That's a good one.
It's coming up on your screens right now.
Take a few in the wilderness. The bear is sleeping still. The creeping rise of democracy has been a bitter pill. In my youth days with sunny tanks and guns and lots of money. Let's get back to the good old days of the Cold War. When you never knew who was sleeping under your bed. This one's gonna be so much better than the old war. This time we're really gonna paint the town red. Let's get back to the good old days of the Cold War. Gonna roll up our sleeves like we did with JFK. This one's gonna be so much better, gonna snowball. We're gonna get the old gang back. Hey, what do you say? Even as a boy, I would march like a soldier to Red Square to make my master plan. Now, as a man, takes me the Red Army away from my command. Though it's true I was born smaller, history will make me taller and taller, taller. Let's get back to the good old days of the Cold War. When you never knew who was sleeping under your bed. This one's gonna be so much better than the old war. This time we're really gonna paint the town red.
much. Thank you.
Hang on. What happened there? Oh, sorry. I thought we'd gone blank. We haven't. Yes. So that was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We liked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we played that at our gig the other day.
We did. At Bath Chapel Arts. Were you there? It was a good one.
Yeah, a couple of people there. So, as always, if you haven't already subscribed to us on YouTube, please do. We're creeping up to a magic 1,000, where if we get 1,000 people, they start actually paying us for the videos that they play, as opposed to them taking the money and pocketing it. Yes. So there. So you need to do that. Also, any Spotify playlists or anything like that, if you do Spotify, I know a lot of people don't. But if you do, stick some of our new stuff on your Spotify playlists, because that all helps. It all tallies up the numbers. Yeah, it does. And someone was asking a question.
Who was
asking a question?
It? I'll tell you what. It was our good friend Ian Walters.
Oh, Ian. Yes. Is it going to be available on digital? The Red Album. Well, the Red Album isn't finished yet, so it's not going to be available till it's finished.
That wasn't quite what he asked. He said, "Are the tracks on the new album available on MP3?"
Oh yes. They should be. You should have. If you bought the album, and I can't remember, Ian, whether you have or not. If you bought it, there's a free MP3 download of it. But somebody asked, was it up on digital, available for just a digital download? And at the time, I said, no, we're going to hang on because we're trying to get the physical sales working. However, I think that's perhaps that's a bit mean. Perhaps if someone wants to buy it, why can't they buy it on download? Perhaps we'll put them up on the website as a download only.
Yeah.
They are already on there, and you get a free download if you buy the physical stuff. But of course, if you're not using physical CDs anymore or physical albums, I can see why you might not want that. Yeah. So I think we will put them up. We will put them up fairly soon when I get to it, which probably won't be too long. They're already up there, but I need to figure out how to get them to make them available as a buy thing. So there.
There we go.
There, that was easy.
It was.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Okay, so as always, we've got a competition.
We have.
Yeah.
We've got a competition. Now, shall I read out the competition question?
Well, not before we put it up on screen, but also, we should discuss the prize. Now, the problem is we've got so many people here who are such regular customers, and Paul G won last week, and he said, I've already got 4 T-shirts, I don't want a T-shirt. So anyway, the official prize this week is a T-shirt, but if you've already got 4 T-shirts or 10 T-shirts, then we can find another one. All right, we'll find a different prize. If there's something like we have, of course, all of the older Korgis stuff, not the first 3 BMG albums, but the all the stuff like, I think if we got the Korgis collection, This World's for Everyone, James Warren, Innocent Bystander, and there's something else there as well. I can't remember which one. There's another older one. Obviously, there's Cartoon World if you don't have Cartoon. I can't believe anyone doesn't have Cartoon World. Cool Hits is there as well. So if there's any little gaps in your collection, we can happily fill them up. Yeah. So if you don't want a T-shirt, and it's any T-shirt of your choice, providing you choose one of the ones that we have, which are, we've got all sizes of Cartoon World, we've got all sizes of the Korgis Time Machine, and also we have only 2 sizes left in the Cool Hits, and that is, I think we've got a medium and an XXXL in that. Okay, so if you want something really...
if you have a morbidly obese friend, we do have XXXXXXL.
Or if you fancy something loose to go to sleep in, you know, it's like that would be like a nightgown.
Yeah,
that would that could work as well. Yeah. So there we are. So should we do the competition question?
Let's do it.
Get it up on the screen? Let's get it up on the screen. 2 seconds.
I wonder what it can be. How exciting!
Have a wee look. Go on then, read it out, Mr. Warren.
Here is the competition question. Which famous 1960s song is quoted in the lyrics of Good Old Days of the Cold War?
Yes.
Got that? Shall we
Do it again. Do it again.
Which
Do it again.
famous 1960s song is quoted in the lyrics of Good Old Days of the Cold War?
There we are. There we are. No, I reckon that's quite an easy question.
Yeah, I think so.
I reckon it's we reckon it's but then we know about the 60s, don't we?
We do a little bit, yes.
Yes, a little
yeah, a little bit.
It'd be good for a song. Do you know something about the 60s?
Yes, yes, why not?
Yeah. Who would have thought of that? Yeah. All right. So first correct answer wins. Yeah. So my next little thing on my cryptic sheet here today is what have we been working on today?
What indeed have we been working on? We have been working on a song for the next album.
The Red album. Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The Blue album has just come out.
It has.
The Red album will be out in June.
So I'll have to wear a red jacket at that point.
will.
Well, I'll have to find a red jacket. So at the moment we're because we are touring as the Korgis Time Machine meets Ununited Nations. James is sporting his Korgis Time Machine jacket, and I am sporting my Ununited Nations light blue
how clever.
jacket, which in around June time will turn into a red
Yes.
jacket. Yes, so I'll get some funny looks walking around the shops in that.
So today we've been working on a song with the curious title of Loaded Tongue.
Loaded Tongue, which is a play on words of loaded gun. And the chorus line, with a grudge and a loaded tongue. Grudge and a loaded tongue.
Yes,
Which can be misconstrued. Lots of people saying a crutch and a loaded tongue or a crotch and a loaded... It is neither of those. It is a grudge. A grudge and a loaded tongue. Which has sounded very nice. So you and I have written this song, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which we did ages and ages ago, but then when we had finally, we left it then, but I whacked a vocal down on it at that point so that we had it intact, so at least we could listen to it. So James has put his vocal on it now. It's not necessarily the final vocal, and we were still changing lyrics today.
Yeah.
But at least there's this correct vocalist on, and there's a spot in the middle where John's going to do the middle bit as well.
Yeah. Paul has just played the drums.
Paul has played the drums on it, yeah. Cursing us he was, because there's a little bit of it goes into, for all the musical minded people, it goes into a 5/4 bar, 2 5/4 bars in a row, and it is a confusing little sequence.
Somewhat tricky.
Yes, somewhat tricky. But he did a masterful job.
He did.
It sounds absolutely brilliant. So at some point, not yet. At some point, when we get closer to releasing the Red album, we might give you some sneak previews, especially on this live stream, as we're all amongst friends, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of some of those new songs. So yeah, that's all very good, isn't it? What have I got here? What have we working? Yeah, okay. So today, of course, we are talking about the good old days of the Cold War, and I think this was one of the very first things that I played you, because I had this little chorus thumping away on piano, and I remember when I played it to you, we were down recording with Mike Reed at the Heritage Chart in Brighton.
That's right.
And I had it on my phone and I played it.
Yeah,
we were at that little bar downstairs.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that was probably the first thing from these new albums. So it goes way, 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 way back, and it was way back. Before the Ukraine war started. So it was a bit like Putin was obviously flexing his muscles a little bit, and it's a little bit of a song about that, how he always wanted to be greater, and he wanted Russia back together again, and harking back to those beautiful days of the Cold War with Khrushchev and Kennedy, and all of that stuff going on. And so now, of course, this is what we're pretty much back to, isn't it? We're back to the Cold War with everyone threatening each other, which is a bit sad, isn't it? That we have not progressed forward when we thought we would have.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I was kind of laughingly referring to Putin and Trump the musical.
Yes, I remember.
Because I thought that would be quite
remember.
a funny little thing. And of course, this would be one of the songs from it. But I went further than that. You'll be surprised to know, because I went and I wrote another couple of songs for Putin and Trump the musical. The first being a song called "Way Past Midnight in Moscow," where Trump is on a night out with Vladimir Putin, and they're out on the Raz, and there's a lot of drink going on, but there's hookers, there's cameras set up in hotel rooms and all sorts of stuff. So there's all sorts of blackmail material going on. And of course, shortly after that, Trump got elected. And there was talk of meddling from the Russians in the American elections. And here we are, we're full cycle again, and Trump is like in the running again. Can you believe this? I mean, just... When he got elected the first time, apparently there was a cafe in London, and outside there was a sign which said, "All Americans must be accompanied by an adult."
Oh!
I thought it was very funny. So anyway, on looking at this Putin and Trump the musical, what do? I got my daughter Leah, who did a lot of the art for Cartoon World, to do a little mock-up of a cover. It's a bit like an old-fashioned, the front of a musical score, or the front of one of those books you'd get if you were doing one of those old-fashioned musicals. And there we have Putin on his horse, as there was a famous bare-chested version of Putin on a horse, wasn't there?
Yes.
And Trump on top of Trump Towers. I just realised what it was. Yeah, Trump on top of Trump Towers. So Putin and Trump the musical, and not to be kind of not to just leave it there. There was also, I went as far as I wrote the script. Starts with the opening. Overture. Scene, Moscow, early evening. The Kremlin is seen in the distance flying the two flags of Russia and the USA. The overture plays as dusk descends.
Oh.
So there, we're going to leave it right there, just in case we ever complete this Putin and Trump the musical. We don't want to give it all away. Yeah. But anyway, there would be, the idea would be, there would be several songs. It would be Way Past Midnight in Moscow, a wild kind of party kind of thing. And at the end of it all, when Trump is completely hammered, Putin just says to him, "Hey, meet me in the Kremlin tomorrow." And they meet up in the Kremlin, and Putin sings him "Good Old Days of the Cold War." He says, "I have this idea, let's get back to this." And at the end of it, he still has doubts at this point. He says, "But what if they don't like me anymore?" And Trump sings him a lovely little song called "Keep the Blue Skies Above You," which is all about when everything is going to crap around you, just keep a smile and use alternative facts, keep a smile no matter what they say. So yeah, it's a nice little song. And then they kick open the doors of his office, and they enter the stage of the Bolshoi Ballet, where they finish off the whole extravaganza with a kick dance routine of "Let's get back to the good old days of the Cold War." Yeah, all that sort of stuff. So, the grand finale, the KGB are the chorus in the background, and they're all kind of singing like this, "Gotta get the old gang back," all of that sort of stuff,
Wow. Sounds like a hit concept to me. Andrew Lloyd Webber? I think so.
Well, I think if you've had Jerry Springer the musical, you can have anything, can't you? You can have anything.
That's right.
So yeah, why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? So anyway, that was the genesis of the song. But anyway, we knew this song had particular promise, and I think one morning you whacked through the verse. And it was took about 10 minutes or something like that. It was just kind of straight into it. Worked very nicely. So I think we might grab up Sono, because there's a couple of interesting things on here.
Yeah.
But there was something I was going to get, and I haven't actually got it yet. But I'll tell you what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll go and get it.
Yes.
I'll go and get it.
What can
when
it
we
be?
Do. No, I'll tell you what. We'll reiterate the competition, because I will go and get it then, and you can reiterate the competition.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put the competition back up on screen. Whoops, that's not quite it.
That's not quite either.
That's better.
That's
okay.
better.
So I'll be back in a minute.
Yes. So I will read this competition question again. It's a good one, isn't it? So here we are. Which famous 1960s song is quoted in the lyrics of Good Old Days of the Cold War? I think someone's going to get it, aren't they? It's not that difficult, but it's a good little song and it's quoted in Good Old Days of the Cold War. So a t-shirt could be winging its way to you, or a tin of Heinz baked beans perhaps, if you prefer that, or the Trog's greatest hits, which I would like. What's your your favourite Trog song? I think mine is With a Girl Like You. Yeah, remember that one? That's not quoted in the Good Old Days of the Cold War though, but yeah, perhaps we can think of another song which we can include a quote from a Trog song in. Yes. Yes. Now what's coming up? So let me tell you this. The Good Old Days of the Cold War is number 5 in Mike Reed's Heritage Chart. Great, isn't it? It's also number 1 in the Fab Chart.
I'm back.
He's back.
Hooray!
He's back with this thing. I wonder what this thing is.
I'm going to show you what this thing is. All right, so back to us. So, on this, there are several voices. Things that go, it's red, all red. And you might be wondering how we managed to create that megaphone sound.
How did we create it? Yeah.
With a megaphone!
Oh.
Da-da-da. I think this...
Yeah.
I'll just get that a little bit up on screen so you can see it. I think this used to be like a shop floor megaphone where they go, worker number 69, you are not working hard enough. Come up to the office, you will be sacked immediately.
Indeed.
Etc. So that's how it was made. Was actually done with a megaphone. And anyone who was at the Bath gig will know that I was actually using this on the Bath gig. Yeah. And I found all sorts of uses for it. There was a few different things I used it for. There we are. There's the megaphone. So we're going to get up Sonar and I'm going to show you what it sounded like.
Yeah, let's see.
In isolation.
Let's see.
What?
Let's get back to the good old days of the cold.
So let me just pop this up on this screen.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Let's go up there. And there we are. Okay, so I'm going to try and find this megaphone. It should be up with voices. Anyone who's seen a lot of these will realise that the voices are generally red. So at the top where we have a million backing vocals. I'll come back to those in a second because there are a couple that sound really, really marvellous there. I'll lead. Oh, okay, so I think this is it, isn't it? This is it here. So the most notable place where you hear this, of course, is in the middle 8. Does my bomb look big in this? Big enough for an anarchist? Your little bomb looks good on
But has it got the megaphone effect on it? Sounds like an ordinary voice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Oh, a little blunder going on here.
Well, let's...
Doesn't sound like a megaphone at the moment.
It doesn't really.
No,
does
it doesn't. No. One must have forgotten to
press
a certain button.
Unless we did it in a certain way, and I think
perhaps we did.
Might have.
Yes.
Oh, that's the vocal plate. No, that's not it. That's not it.
That's not it. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna keep hunting around here because
it's there somewhere.
I'm not sure we've quite got that right yet. Sorry about this. It'll be brilliant in time. Oh, just while we're there, while I'm seeing things, we have a lovely marching effect that goes on here. Which we managed to find. That's always a good thing. Where's the outro? This is where these things are.
I'll give you the signal. We'll go all
Ah,
right.
that sounds a bit more like a megaphone voice.
Yeah, but I can't find it. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? It's got to be there, has it?
It's there somewhere,
It's
isn't
there.
it?
It is there somewhere. Yeah, it is there somewhere. Maybe it's on a subgroup here. We'll just see where that comes out.
I'll give you the signal. We'll coordinate.
Yes,
Hello?
LP64 Blue Cat frequency. Oh my god, yeah. Well, it's there somewhere. You
It's
can
there
hear
somewhere.
it. And it was done with my megaphone.
Yes.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that's on here is the theremin. The theremin. Let's find the theremin. This is the thing that does the solo, or the first solo anyway. So I'm just going to solo that now. A marvellous invention.
Yes.
The theremin being an electromagnetic instrument, which I think I said this last time, but the mic was off. And so it looked very phallic, apparently, because I was pointing at the mic and said all that. So I'm going to just come down here at the moment so you can see us. But imagine this microphone is a theremin, and what happens is when you put your hand, do that, it goes woo, and they go woo.
The theremin used to be used a lot in spooky films of the late 1950s and early 1960s. Anything supernatural and weird.
Flying saucers.
Flying saucers,
Yeah.
yes. Plan 9 from outer space and all that, you know.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And also famously used in pop music. In which song? I can tell you which song.
which song?
Good Vibrations.
Oh yeah.
It's famously
Wasn't it?
in Good
Yeah.
Vibrations, isn't it? The theremin, yes.
Let's see if I can get that to actually play it. Perhaps not. Perhaps not. No,
It's one of those evenings, isn't it?
It is one of those evenings, and I know why, but
He knows why.
We'll forget it. But anyway, it gets played. That's a little plug-in. It gets played from a keyboard, but it's quite hard to use. You have to get all the controls right, or it goes. So it takes ages to get right, but it's such a fantastic sound that we
It
thought
is.
we'd persevere with it.
It's
And we
fantastic.
used it in Oppenheimer as well, which of course is on the Red album. So anyone wondering why Oppenheimer wasn't included on the Blue album, it fitted better on the Red album.
As you will hear in June.
Yes, as you will hear in June. So that's good. The only other thing I wanted to look at was there's a couple of very nice BVs. Let's see if we can get them to behave themselves here. Particularly in verse 2, around about here. Maybe we'll play it without the solo on first. That particular one. Ooh, do you like my master plan? Which that was our intention to kind of be a little bit Queen-like at that point. And there's a classic bit of Queen type harmony in the regular chorus, which is around about here somewhere. Not that. This coming up right now.
Oh yeah.
We had a little bit jazz there.
Yeah.
A little bit Manhattan
Yeah.
Transfer there.
Manhattan Transfer,
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, lots of nice backing vocals on that track. Good fun to do as well, and also fantastic fun to do live.
Yeah.
Which is what we've been doing.
Yeah. And talking of live, should we mention our upcoming gigs? Is this a good point to mention the upcoming gigs, would you say, young man?
Yes.
Next gigs.
Next gigs.
Next gigs are the following. On March the 9th, Bridgewater.
Yes. Bridgewater. That's not far away, is it now,
Not
Bridgewater?
far away
It's
from
just
here.
over a month. 5 weeks away.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And then on March the 22nd, Barnoldswick
Oh yes,
or Barwick. I don't know how the locals...
Barwick. Yeah, they call it
Is that
Barwick,
how the
don't they?
locals pronounce it?
Barwick,
Yeah.
I think.
Barnoldswick, yeah. That's a lovely venue. It's a great gig, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if any of you live up that part of the
Yeah.
world...
In fact, 2 gigs up in that part of the world.
Yeah, because on the following day we're playing in Howdenshire.
Which is near Goole, which is near Selby.
Live art.
So
Howdenshire Live Art.
Yeah, so Selby, York kind of area.
Yeah.
Everyone from up there will know where Goole is. So that'll be a good one as well. So you've got Barnoldswick and then Goole straight after each other. Come to both.
Come to both.
Different
Perfect.
kinds of venue all together.
Yeah.
One, Barnoldswick or Barwick, tiny, only holds about 60 people. So,
But it's amazing the people they get in there. So,
I know.
I mean, the
Yeah,
artists they have performing there.
Yeah.
Top artists
Yeah.
go and perform there. It's amazing.
yeah, like us.
Like us. Yes. Yeah. And
What else we got?
okay, April the 5th, we're playing in Lewis.
Lewis, yes, because
Yeah.
that gig was postponed
Yeah.
from a little while ago.
Yeah.
Lewis, and I've never been to Lewis, but apparently
Neither
it is
have
a
I.
beautiful part of the world because my
Ah.
daughter Lorna has been there, and she went, "Oh, I know Lewis. I've been there on holiday.
Oh right,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lovely little place, just north of Brighton."
I thought it was that part of the
Yeah.
world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little point. Yeah. What else? What other gigs? have we
So
got?
then we go on to the 26th and 27th of April, and it's then that we're in Scotland.
Bonnie
Aye,
Scotland.
Scotland.
Aye, aye,
That's
aye,
where
aye.
we are. Yeah. Where in Scotland? Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Glasgow and Edinburgh. So, but the other way around. We're in
Edinburgh and Glasgow.
first. Yes, we are. And I was gonna just. I'll just find our picture of Bonnie Scotland that I created last night. With us,
yes.
I'm going to put it up on screen with us all playing the bagpipes and the Scottish drums.
Looking very jolly.
And look at Mr. James Warren on a whiz on the piano accordion, apparently, according to that picture.
If only.
If what you believe is true. It's the sort of thing I would have expected from multi-instrumentalist Danielle Nichols to be picking up, just a piano accordion like that, but no, there's the proof. Mr. James Warren in full flow. And of course John and I are going Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, not everyone loves the sound of the bagpipes. In fact, I had a message this morning from Marley Davidson saying how much he was not keen on the sound of the bagpipes.
Oh.
There we are.
There we are.
There we are. So
There we are.
Yes, that was our lovely little pick. That's what I did with myself yesterday. So have we got any other gigs there, or is that all of them?
That's about it at the moment, I think. Oh, and also, I should say that myself and Al will be performing at the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh, yes, we
on
will.
April the
8th.
April the 8th.
Which is a
Royal
Monday.
Albert Hall. Yes,
April
yeah.
the 8th.
It's a special charity gig that Al has done many times before, because Al tends to write all the orchestral parts and everything for the orchestra musicians.
Well, actually, we could
that
play
are
him a little bit.
Oh,
couldn't we?
right,
Well, should we play him a
yeah.
little bit? This is not from this year's show because they do a new show every time they do it.
Yeah.
We've only done the Albert Hall with them once before.
But tell them what the charity is about.
Okay, so the charity was originally started from MenCap, and it was to help with people with disabilities of any kind. And they would get them together and play music and sing music. And they had such success with it, and I'm not just talking about a little bit of success, we're talking about people who had never spoken before, all of a sudden start speaking and start saying their name and then start singing. So the power of music, not to be underrated, and we all kind of know this. If only the politicians knew that and would fund it, that would be something, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't
Yeah. So they had such success with this that they launched it quite big. In Southend originally, they did a concert at the Southend. I think it might have been the Cliffs Pavilion they did the concert. And then they bumped into me and they said, we want to do this with like an orchestra or something. And they'd seen me doing something with Dan and Laura Curtis with a small orchestra, and they went, we need you to do this. And I went, all right, why not? And so the first little gig I did with them was at Palladium. we did a second gig at the Palladium, and then the third gig was the Royal Albert Hall. And the third gig was a proper, like, 80-piece orchestra, something like 600-piece choir, which is as well, they're all going to be there when we play
God.
it.
My
600-piece choir. And little James Warren at the top with two of my other friends who were putting in backing vocals over the top, and I think one of the girls is going to sing lead on one of the songs, but putting in the backing vocals on some of those songs. So you'll get a clear view of them. I don't think the tickets are very much money, and there are still some tickets left, although it is selling very well. Monday, April the 5th, and it's called the Music Man Project. So since doing these gigs, they have launched this not only all over the country, so there's about 6 or 7 centres in the country. There's also a centre in Nepal. I think there's one in the Philippines. They've been to Africa. They've set it up. They kind of do workshops kind of all over the world.
Great, isn't it?
With the idea of that instead of just, saying, oh, bless disability, you can't do anything. And, we know from my friend Gavin Clifton, who, to any intents and purposes, people go, oh, bless him, he's severely disabled, he won't be able to do anything. And Gavin is the first one to go, I bloody well can, and I will. I'll do anything anyone else can do, and he can have a good go. So Gavin and I have written, 30, 40 songs or something like that. We've had a #1 in the country charts. I think we've actually had 2 #1s in the country charts, which is brilliant. So, yeah, never say never. And so instead of ignoring people with disabilities, help them find a way. Music is definitely one of the ways forward. And so this concert at the Albert Hall, everyone that's been to see this kind of concert has come away saying, I didn't know what I expected, but I didn't expect that. That was a kind of life-changing concert. So people like Richard Main, wearing my violin player, have gone, I've got to get this on the One Show. I've got to get this, we've got to get this out there because it is so brilliant what they do.
So do come along. Do see if you get tickets.
It'll be a fabulous
Great
night. I'm going to show you. It's mainly original music, but it's music that's created for them. So it's music that's created to so it's accessible for them to do. But the music's quite complicated. I'll tell you some of the stuff that David Stanley writes. And David Stanley is MBE. He's going, oh, sorry, Al, I can't make it next week. I'm in the Houses of Parliament. Oh, sorry, got to meet the King. He writes this most amazing music. And then he gives it to me and he says, right, Al, what can you do with this then? I'm going to play you a tiny little piece here. This was from a rehearsal from the Albert Hall last time, and this is from they had a little mini musical called Music Man in Space. And in fact, Leah Darknell did a mock-up of the Royal Albert Hall taking off into space. And I think this was some of the music was around this point in the show. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick it up here, and you'll see the orchestra. So this is just a rehearsal, but you'll see the kind of thing we're doing. And if you look right over at the back, there's Paul Smith.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. We won't play anymore because it all fell to pieces after that. But that was one of the first rehearsals. So a brilliant conductor called Liam, who was a fantastic guy to work with. I described him afterwards as the nicest guy you will ever meet who won't take no for an answer. And he would just go, no, sorry, no, do it again. No, do it again. Do it again. Still late. Yeah, do it again. Do it again. Shorter bows. Shorter bows. Shorter bows. Look at him. Shorter bows. Yeah. So I think everyone learned quite a lot working with him. He's a great composer in his own right. So there we are. That's Royal Albert Hall.
There we are.
Royal Albert Hall. That should be that should be good. Yeah.
So where are we now then on our list here? Where are we now?
Ian Walters had asked again. Just I feel embarrassed about daring to ask if I can buy your new album on MP3 because you probably only earn peanuts from an MP3. Well, actually, it's up to us where we price that. So we tend not to price the MP3s particularly cheap because we want people to buy the other stuff, and also because we don't think music is worthless. But if you were to have the MP3s, we would also make available to you the sheets that go with them and all of that sort of stuff. So that's easy enough to do. So you could have the parts that go with it. Ian, I know you are visually impaired. I think you've got one good eye, so you might stand a chance. But I'm sure you can get someone to read it to you as well. So yes, we will make those available. It's likely to be at something like a price of a tenner, I would think. It'll be a tenner for the album, for the Blue Album. So we will put those up soon. Have a look for it there. But as I said, anyone buying a physical album or record will get those MP3s free anyway. It's a free download that arrives. And what I would also say, and I've said this a couple of times before, we do actually have digital high resolution files. If someone really goes, yeah, but CD and quality isn't enough for me, I want 24-bit and stuff. Particularly, I know certainly the vinyl mixes, which are different mixes from the CD mixes. The vinyl mixes we can send you on. We can send them to you, but they're large files. They're 24-bit, but they do sound amazing. They do sound really good. It's a different kind of sound altogether. Having listened to both mixes quite extensively, the vinyl mixes feel bigger because they're not a squash. You know, they're not there for volume as much. They are much bigger and more open. They get a bit quieter and a bit louder, but they sound lovely. Yeah. James, do you know, have we had a competition winner?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that, because I'm now going to check to see if indeed we do have...
You can scroll up from there if you need to.
And in fact, I can see that someone has given the correct answer.
Well, don't say who it is yet, because we will read the question again.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, shall I do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, here's that competition question then.
Okay.
The question was, and indeed still is, which famous 1960s song is quoted in the lyrics of Good Old Days of the Cold War?
Oh, yeah.
So we have a correct answer. Do I now reveal the...
I do think you reveal who it is.
The individual who has the correct answer is Paul G.
Paul Griffin, once again.
Indeed. And what is that correct answer? It is the song by The Who called I Can See for Miles.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, it is. Which...
Shall I sing a bit of it?
Yeah.
I know you deceived me, now here's a surprise. I know that you did, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles and miles. One of my favourites by The Who.
Oh,
yeah.
It is a good one. It is a good one. And in our song, what did it do? It went... I don't look big enough
This is your
for
section.
kids. Your little bum looks good on you. So it don't matter if you believe that's true. We don't need that 'cause we got swans. You got pipelines I can see for miles and miles and miles. There we are. That's
Yes.
where it was. I did smirk when I was writing those lyrics. But I thought, I can see for miles. I thought I was in miles and miles and miles.
Oh, yes, yes.
There we are. Sorry, what I meant to do for the Albert Hall gig, I meant to just show the poster. This is the poster for the Albert Hall. Special guest Michael Ball is going to be singing at least one song. I can't remember how you say. I have got the show list because we need to figure out what we're going to rehearse, don't we?
Indeed.
But yeah, special guest Michael Ball, and I am not conducting that orchestra because it is the band of the Royal Marines who are actually playing all my orchestrations. Or rather, I'm going to pull it back to us. Rather, they've taken all the orchestra arrangements that I did and they've expanded them for the Marines band. So, because the Marines have essentially a brass section that's about 30 piece strong. And so they have fantastic arrangers there as well who have taken the original stuff and given. And so we're going to be at one of those rehearsals and we'll figure out, you know, does it sound any good? And I tell you what, I bet it will sound good because they've already done one song and it sounds amazing.
Oh,
So yeah.
there we are.
So yeah, Band of the Royal Marines. As if that wasn't enough, we've added a string section to that too. I'm going to be playing guitar. James Warren on backing vocals, as well as Hayley Byfield, who is a brilliant vocalist from Cardiff, and Kelly Walters, who is a very old friend of mine, and a lot of people would have known her in Wales because she was always the lead in Owen Money's pantos. Way back, she hadn't done them for a good while, but she was always the lead in those pantos. And she's a brilliant singer. In fact, she had a hit.
Oh,
She did have a hit because she had a hit under the name of Kelly Marie, not the Kelly Marie that had "Feels Like I'm in Love, do do, boo boo, do do." Not that Kelly Marie. It was a different Kelly Marie, but she did have a hit. So yeah, there.
Excellent.
So there we are.
we are.
Paul G, we will have to converse because I know you've got 4 T-shirts. All right, so we'll have to converse. What present can we possibly give you now?
I wonder.
He usually has ideas.
Oh,
He
good.
usually has some ideas.
Well done, Paul.
What would I like now? Okay. So there we are. I think we've covered
that's
most of it,
about
haven't we?
isn't it?
Is there anything else that I haven't done here? I don't think there's anything too scary that we haven't done.
I think that's about it, really.
Yeah, it is about it, but I'll tell you what I need to find. Because I haven't actually bounced this in, because we always end with the video for Good Old Days.
We do, don't we? Yeah.
So I've been very remiss and I haven't put that in the right place, but I'll find it now. So Good Old Days of the Cold War is going to be here soon, somewhere. Good Old Days of the Cold War video. Here it is. Need to play the right one. There it is. That's the one. Thank you so much. We will be back with you next week. Next week, I am joined by Ian Cooper. Ian Cooper is a friend of Chris Hopkins. That's why we know him. And Ian Cooper co-wrote the song Someday. And we'll talk all about that. But he will actually be in the studio because I'm working with him during that day next week. Chris Hopkins will be here during the day, but he actually has to go back to Liverpool early, so we won't get him. But I might actually do a little interview with him about his song Prison Break, because that was a co-write between the three of us.
Interesting.
So we might get his thoughts on that because we can do it when we pull that one up. But yeah, Ian Cooper with us next day talking about the song Someday, Charlie, Someday.
Yes. That'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. But thank you very much for joining us. Any more questions? I'll stay on the line for about 10 minutes. If there's any more questions I haven't answered, I'll have a quick whip through and let you know. But absolutely brilliant. See you next week. And
See you
we're going to
soon.
leave you with... we're almost going to leave you with Good Old Days of the Cold War, but it just has to download. But it shouldn't take very long to do. We'll let you know. We had a worrying moment. I tried to download something earlier and it went zero.
So while it's downloading, we're going to sing you a quick song.
Oh, are we? What are we going to sing?
Elsie will play guitar.
Okay.
Any requests?
Well, we go back to that. What do you want to sing? Do you want to sing something?
Do you know, I hadn't thought of what we might sing. Why did the apple fall to the ground? Where have all the flowers gone? Who fired the shotgun when love was all around? Were we only sleeping? I don't know. But I do know something about the Beatles. Yes, I do know something about the Beatles. Oh, oh, oh.
There we are. Good Old Days of the Cold War. We're going to leave you with it. Up on screen it is. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
take a few in the wilderness. The bear is sleeping still. The creeping rise of democracy has been a bitter pill. In my youth days with sunny tanks and guns and lots of money. Let's get back to the good old days of the Cold War, when you never knew who was sleeping under your bed.
Indeed. So that's that. That's that. Got that. See you then, lad. Bye.